Toastmaster Jacqueline.
A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Are you ready for a time for table topics? Okay, the theme for today's table topic will revolve around this theme known as what is this word? Everyone says reframe. So what exactly is reframe? Now this word, this is something that personally, if some of you know me, that I'm actually a trainer who specializes in the field of teaching NLP. So this is something very powerful that I usually share with many of my participants. Now reframe comes from the word frame. Alright. So what does reframe simply means is that, now reframe works on this context that everything in life doesn't have any meaning except the what? The meaning you give it. Is it true that everything that happens to you does not have any meaning until you put on this pair of lens? And you decide to give it meaning based on the lens that you wear. So, this evening, why you probably ask, why is it that reframing is such an important technique we all need to master? Because are there times where we'll probably be, dwelling into challenges? How many of you ever faced challenge in your life? Wow. Ever faced challenges? Well, some of you are so lucky. Alright, how many of you detest having problems in life? How many of you have a smooth sailing life? Oh yes, right. Okay, so reframing doesn't mean that everything around you is going really smooth. No, you have no problems in your life. But what it simply means is that you are able to find a new way of looking at a situation just by changing the lens, alright, that you use to see the situation. So today I want to share with you two techniques. How many techniques? Two techniques. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the two techniques? The first technique that you can actually use is known as let's say it together, a context reframe. Okay, what is a context reframe? Okay, context reframe comes from the word context. Alright, which means to say what? When you look at a situation, the context changes, but the behavior remains the same. So, let me give you an example later on, alright? The other kind of reframing technique you can use is called a content reframe. Everyone says content reframe. Content reframe. Okay, what's the content reframe?
Change the content.
Well, you change your content, alright? And then, but the context remains the same. Okay, let me give you one example of how you can actually use. And by the way, throughout these table topics, I'll be giving you a few topics. You can use either the context or the content reframe, it's up to you. Now, see, context reframe works in such a way that we understand that whatever problems that we face in our life, challenges, now this problem may not be helpful in this situation, but it may be helpful in another situation. Now, example, Singapore is currently the most expensive city to live in. It's a fact, right? Yeah, you say it's a fact. You have to constantly struggle to make a living. Anyone likes to try a context reframe? I'll give you an example. A context reframe means to say what? Hey, it means what? It means that when you travel overseas, you can actually get product cheaper. Okay, so you're still living in an expensive city, but now it means to say what? When I go overseas, I can purchase things at a cheaper price. What about content reframe? Singapore is an expensive city. No. It means to say what? We are enjoying a high standard of living. Okay, so you can use either the context reframe or the content reframe. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to list you 7 problems for you to reframe. So any takers for the first challenge? Joaquin first? Okay, let's get Joaquin out. Oh, by the way, before I forget, there will also be this mini contest.